Hello Empower Tribe, welcome back to my channel. I feel like I just changed my backdrop again towards the window, and for some reason it seems like it's coming in dark. So let me know in the comments if it is not showing up as well for you. But I really like this setup because it really brings the light into the room. But unfortunately, when I film in the morning, it just kind of affects the lighting for some reason. But how is everybody doing? We are approaching the new year and lots of resolutions happening, lots of planning for what the year 2022 is going to be. And I hope that you guys take some dedicated time to really look within, outside of the external factors. I actually have a workshop happening called Diving Deep into Your Vision for 2022. And this is not one that is setting a vision like a vision board. A vision board is great, but I think what's most important is really working from within, because everything can change around you, but the most important change that you can make is one that you made for yourself. Without further ado, let's go into the Book of Awakening. Today's passage is titled Sustaining Wonder. In one atom are found all the elements of the earth. In one motion of the mind are found all the motions of existence. In one drop of water are found all the secrets of the endless oceans. In one aspect of you are found all the aspects of life. As humans, we are relentlessly in cycle. The mind builds a shell to protect its total spirit, but the shell muffles the spirit. Till outgrowing the shell, we devise ways to break it. We build the shell, then tear it down. We build it thinner, we tear it down. Yet only between constructions are we thoroughly touched. Only between encasements are we punctured by love. But we are not to be blamed. All of nature is conscripted to such a cycle. Trees grow moss, silver tarnishes, the mind is dulled by the growth of its conceptions, and likewise a storm removes the moss. A scratch breaks through the tarnish, and the crisis reveals the raw surface of the mind. Time builds and erodes, and we are transformed. Yet the same wind gathers sand to a dune, and tide undermines the dune. It's how the early years pack us, and the later ones softly flood us without a sound. We have no choice but to withstand the film that constantly builds and to endure the erosion that inevitably follows. Of course, for humans, this dance of film and erosion is not merely physical. It affects our thinking, feeling, seeing, and being. How easily and repeatedly we dull and brighten, how easily we become chronic amnesiacs of spirit, drifting into observation and analysis when we stop participating and experiencing. Then we wake up one day forgetting the feel of life, while incredibly attuned to its silhouette. We can see it so clearly, each perplexity and nuances, yet why can't we feel it? In this way, the mind grows thoughts and words, the way the planet grows trees, so much that we no longer see the heavens, and so we need to chop down what we think and say, and yes, silence is an axe. In truth, our aliveness depends on our ability to sustain wonder, to lengthen the moments we are truly uncovered, to be still and quiet till all the elements of the earth and all the secrets of the oceans stir the aspects of life waiting within us. This is a long passage, but I really like what the passage is telling us. In my mind, when I kind of dissect what the passage is saying, to me, it's telling us that we are constantly changing, we are constantly evolving. Our minds and our perception of reality constantly changing based on the experiences that we come in contact with. I want to share with you the story. I believe I shared before in other videos that I have had this very tumultuous relationship with my mother. It's been going on for years. I left my home at 17 because I can no longer tolerate her narcissistic personality. It was very controlling. It's very hard for me to be who I was truly meant to be. And I knew that when I left the house, it was going to be difficult because I had no idea what to expect, or because I was only 17. But my life started then. I became a young mom, and obviously I went through my first divorce, and well, there's not going to be a second, but my divorce, and up to this point. And my relationship with her has always been me trying to make it work. It's always me taking the initiative. But every time I connect with her, I am reminded why I left in the first place. And I'm sure some of you out there have similar toxic relationship with your mother. Um, it is very common, uh, but I think what affects us most is really our approach towards that relationship. That's something that I've learned through my journey. Um, my mom triggers a lot of emotions in me. Um, I think as I grow older and as I raise my own family and notice the kind of mother that I am, I'm not saying I'm a perfect mother, but I do see a difference, and I do grieve for the relationship that we could have. And many years ago, I decided that I was going to tell her the truth, because I've always been very submissive and very respectful. And I never ever really told my mom how I felt about her. And when I was going through my initial stages of spiritual awakening, I was really weeding out things that no longer served me. And one of the things that no longer served me was the toxic relationship, the dynamics that we have with each other. And something within me says that I'm a big girl now, and I have to stand up for myself as a woman and truly tell her how I feel, because that is really going to be important for my growth as a person. And so I did. And obviously it wasn't well received. And I guess, that I have my part to play and she has hers. And I did that for myself because I needed to speak the truth, and I did. And ever since then, we really stopped spoken to each other. That was many years ago. And that was the time where I really understood and dive into understanding that narcissistic personality that she has, and how it has affected me being her daughter, and how it has affected my psyche, and how it's affected the way I see the world. Which I went on a long journey of really dissecting the truth of who I am, because I know it sounds difficult to understand, but it's almost like you are living in a bubble where you think that your reality is such, but then when you went outside of the bubble, you realize that the reality is not the picture that was painted for you all along. Which almost means that you have to create a new reality for yourself, and really to understand, because your personality and your identity is so ingrained with what you're exposed to, that you believe that that's the truth for you. And for me, it's really, I went on a journey of really searching for who I truly am outside of those toxicity, the lies, and the experiences that I had growing up. And just very recently, I came to terms with, my own spiritual journey of really growing into myself and really working on loving and working on forgiveness. And not speaking to my mother wasn't really like an act of unforgiveness, because I understood that she did the best that she could. But I decided I was going to reach out to her to initiate a relationship. And I never ever said I didn't want to talk to her ever, but obviously, because of my conversation with her, she decided to just disassociate herself with me. But in my spiritual journey, I'm doing things for my own growth and for my own highest good. And so I decided that I was going to initiate that relationship with her. And so I reached out to her and just asked her how she is, and send her some pictures of my boys and my family, just so she knows what's happening. The response that I gotten from her was not what I've expected. I guess I don't know what to expect from my mother, really, because um, I don't really know who she is anymore, because we don't have a relationship with each other. I'm sure she's also on her journey of evolution. And I think that's something that I come to terms with, is we are all on different journeys and we all learn things differently. And as much as I'm working on myself and I'm growing in my journey of being who I am, she is on her own too. And we might be in different spaces and different spots in our journey, and that's completely fine. And I need to give her the space to do what she needs to grow herself. But I need to take responsibility for my part of my journey, and that is as a daughter to reach out and to express uh, my wanting to connect, because to me that's important, because I want her to know that I'm not mad at her. There's uh, the door is open for us to be connected. And in the past, when my mom triggers so much emotions in me that I would just be so devastated when things don't turn out the way I've imagined it to be. But through my working on myself, I have really learned to separate how she responds, and really learn how to not be reactive to how she responds to me, because I used to be so reactive when she come at me a certain way, say things to me a certain way. And working on myself has given me a sureness about who I am that is unshakable. And I'm still working on it, because I'm not perfecting it yet, because I think it's an ongoing journey. Because, you know, obviously there's trauma that has been involved in that, hurt. But even though the response I gotten wasn't the ideal response, I accept it for what it is. And going into this situation with no expectation has helped me be able to look at things and put things in perspective. Am I sad? Yes. Am I grieving? Yes. But I'm not going to let it define who I am, if it makes any sense. Because I think sometimes when relationships don't work out, then you define yourself as, I'm not good enough, I will never be good enough for her, and I refuse to do that anymore. I accept my power in this, and I accept that it is what it is. Maybe the relationship can only be the way it is right now, and it is completely fine. That doesn't mean that I am less of a person. And I think that the perspective that I have now is so different from the perspective that I have years ago. And it has changed the way I've looked at things and my relationship with other people. And the reason why I want to share this with you is I'm just amazed at the power we all have in really looking at a situation different. And I know that you might be in a situation where you just feel like you're unable to get out of, but all I can say is do the work. Do the work, because ultimately you cannot change the people around you and the things that's happening around you. The only thing you can change is yourself and your approach to things and your sureness that you have about yourself. And I want to encourage you, as the passage tells us that we grow and evolve and our perception change over time. I believe that is absolutely true. And the only way for your perception to change is to really work on your inner lens and your inner world, and how you perceive and how you approach and how you react. That's the only thing you can be in control of. And when you do that, you realize that things outside of you don't affect you as much. I'm not saying you're a robot where you don't feel things. I feel very hurt. I feel pain. I feel grief, because it is normal, you know, for you to want acceptance from your family and you're not getting it. It's normal to wish you have that, but that doesn't equate to you being a unlovable person, which I used to think that. And I don't realize it's all in my subconscious. But now that I'm able to observe myself and my emotions, give space to that and observe that, I'm able to better see how I approach things and be able to get in front of it. And I think it takes an element of self-awareness and an element of really accepting things for what they are, and growth. So I encourage you to take some time to dive into your relationships or even your perception over things that you think might be the way you're seeing it right now, but know that you can change the way you look at things and make it a positive one. It doesn't have to define who you are, and it doesn't have to be a negative one at all. And you are in control of that. You're in control of what goes into your mind and what goes into your heart. I hope this video inspires you. There's a lot of you know, heavy stuff that I just spoke of, and I hope that if you have any questions, feedback, feel free to comment, subscribe to my channel, go into my website www.herempoweredlife.com. I specialize with working with women with trauma and helping them go through and grow out of that false belief and that mindset, and to give yourself a renewed perspective, because I think that that's a powerful thing. Knowledge is power, but knowledge is power only if you apply that in your life. Well, you have a fabulous day. Until we see each other again, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.